Hello and welcome to another Building Middle Earth video. We've just released our supplement SBG Quest Moria on the site, and with that you need some dungeon tiles. There's already a guide on the site for them, but whilst they look good, they're quite impractical to use, so I thought I'd redesign them. And for that I came out with this, which is a 2.5D tile. So the walls are here sort of being represented, but they're not as high, so you can actually get access to it. And you need doors, so I come up with this system here. So you have a doorway, and what it does, it actually, two things: it acts as the door and it locks the tile in place, stop it getting knocked about. So and the other thing about these, they're quite easy to make. You can make the whole set in an evening and then paint them the next evening, whereas the others took a bit of time to make. So let's just crack on. Okay, going to start off with a bit of insulation foam. That is 10.5 inches long by 5.5 inches wide. And then what we're going to do is take a bit of rolled up tin foil and just roll it onto the foam to leave an indentation. You can do this all over, but I've already cracked on and got this one done. I've just got to finish it off a bit here, and this gives a nice little stone sort of pattern into it. Next up, we're going to measure in 1/4 inch on either side, all around the edges, and then we're going to join these lines up, and you're going to do this around each of the edges, and that will leave you with a 10 by 5 plan area inside. This section will be where the wall will be attached in. And here it is, all done, all marked around the edges. Next, you're going to mark on the inside 1 inch all along each of the edges, and then we're going to join these up, and they will represent the floor flagstones. Once you've got the basic flagstones done, you can do different designs. Try and keep them angular to be as dwarven as possible, but use your imagination. Next up, we're going to make the wall sections. You're going to need 2 that are 10.5 inches long and 2 that are 5 inches long, and all of them are 1/2 inch tall. And you're just going to get the tin foil and just make the indentations like you did for the floor. Next up, we're going to glue them in place. So just run some PVA glue along the edge here, just like this, and then take one of the longer pieces and stick it in place, making sure that the indentation side is on the inside, so the back's nice and smooth, and just going to glue it in place. Continue like this, gluing all the other wall pieces in, and then just use something that's at a right angle. Here I'm using milliput, just to make sure that the walls are, go flush with it, so your pieces will line up when you put them next to each other, no matter where they're placed. I tend to leave it in place when I'm leaving it to dry, and that's it for construction of them. Okay, so this is the piece completed, made and undercoated using the sealant, foam sealant. There's a separate video on how to make this. So not only is it undercoated black, but it's given a nice tough finish. And now we're going to paint it. But don't get out your paintbrushes just yet, because we're not going to be using any paintbrushes. I know what I'm hearing you say, what kind of madness is this? But we're not. We're going to be painting it using a sponge. Now, I sometimes feel that using a paintbrush just isn't the best way of doing things. So what we're going to do is we're going to just use some paint. Find it, the paint I want. So many paints, hold on. Okay, all we're going to use this tub. We use this Flintstone grey sort of tester paint pot. I'm just going to pour a bit into a container like so. Yeah, as I said, sometimes when I'm painting with paintbrush, I just don't feel I get the finish I want. So I'm just going to get someone to load some up onto a sponge. Try and wipe away as much excess as possible. So something like that. And just go at it. Go at it at random. And what I'm going to do, that's how you do it. For the base coat, and I shall complete this and I'll come back when it's done. But that is just the technique. You're just dabbing it on. You're trying to get into all the corners as much as possible. The edge is going to be difficult. You probably have to load it up like so to get into the edges. But yeah, I'll carry on and come back when I'm done. So this is the base coat grey done. Still a bit wet in places, I'm going to let it dry. Well, that's it. Really didn't take too long at all. It would have taken much longer if I'd have used a brush. In fact, I just cracked on and got all the other tiles done for it. One thing I would say is it's a bit extreme on the camera. It doesn't look as bad in real life, but leave the edges as black as possible, just to give a bit of shadow. Just make it a bit darker in the corners. Next, we're just gonna, after it's completely dry, because still see a wet patch there, we're gonna go over in a lighter dabbing with a lighter grey. Totally dry now, and what we're gonna do is add a little highlight to it. So we're gonna use this colour, which is called Storm Cloud. It looks a bit like that. Pour a bit into your container, get your sponge, and load it up. Now, because this is a highlight, you don't want it too heavy, so just remove some of it. And all you're going to do is just lightly dab it on, and it's best to rotate the tile so you don't get an equal pattern, so it's all, as you can see, it's highlighting lovely. When you're working the sponge, don't push down too hard and kind of roll it, and that gives you a lovely little highlight. I'm working more in the middle than at the edges, but to do the edges, just on bits you dabbed off, just on the corner of your sponge, load that up a bit, and it's just work it in. Again, doing it at different angles so you don't get like a perfect straight line. And you can do a bit on the edges, on the walls if you want, just highlight the tops. And that's pretty much it for the colours. Not the camera. You just kind of want to work out any bits that look too neat and tidy, too uniform, and that's it. There you go, it's been highlighted lovely. Right, next up we're going to make the doors. Not only do these show you the entrance from one tile to the next, but they also help the tiles click together, just hold them in place from any knocks and stuff. For this you're going to need 2 bits of foam that are 3 inches by ½ inch, and a bit of really thick card. This is mounting board, and this is 3 inches by 1 inch. To do this, I'm just going to get some glue and run it along the edge here, like so. And what you're going to do is just gonna get these pieces and just stick them towards the edge, and you want them overhanging just ever so slightly, like a few mil, just so it's not too tight fit, because this is going to fit in between two tiles. I can give you a demonstration actually. So I've already got some made. So you've got your tiles here, and they'll go together like so, and then you just get on your door piece. That's what we're going to ultimately making. We're just making this bit, and it will just clip in here like so, and you know, it just holds it in place, stops it from moving around too much, and but also shows you where the doorway is. So we'll put that to one side to dry, like so. Probably a bit too. Make sure it's and next we'll make the actual doorway itself. For this you're going to need a bit of foam, 3 inches by 3 inches, and then using a bit of cards, it can be any old cards, this is just cereal box card, we're going to make a template for the doorway. This is 2 inches wide, and it's just shy of 2 inches tall, but you can make it 2 inches tall if you want. So you'd cut a square and then just cut the corners off at 45-degree angles. So, you know, I've come down 1.25 inches and then just done a 45-degree angle. So you're just going to cut that out. Get your tile, place it on there like so. Just draw around. Have a rough draw like so, and then we're gonna cut that out. Might be better off using a ruler for this, but purpose of the video for quickness, it's gonna alright. Okay, gonna cut this out. Probably not the best cut. You may want to take a bit more time, tidy it up if you want. Next, we're going to angle off the edges here and here. To do this, grab your ruler and lay it so it's just along the edge of the angle bit there, and just cut away like so, like so, and pretty much it. I'm going to quickly tidy this bit up. Yeah, that's better. Next up, it's just a case of grabbing this bit. You may want to let the glue dry a bit longer than that, but turn it around. Lob some glue on. Put it on. Stick it on. Leave that to dry, and then just paint all your doors in the same way as your main tile, including the sealant. And there it is. Let that to dry. The basic tiles are now made. You can make the other types of tiles. You're going to need, I think it's 8 basic tiles, and you will need one of these, which is a corner piece. It's made in exactly the same way as the tiles, except so that part there is the same half, and then you just come down here with the same width, just to make a corner bit. Need one of those. You need 3 T-junctions. Again, this main bit here is made the same way as a tile, but in the middle of it you just come down with the same width as there. That's your T-junction. You need 3 of them. You will also need 3 dungeon rooms. Now these can be any size you want. I've gone for a nice 10-inch. Well, the internal is 10-inch, that means it's 10.5-inch square. You'll need 4 of these, because potentially you can get 4 in the room. You'll also need to make this fitting camera, the objective room floor. I'm going to move the camera back, and that's all this is a piece of foam
That is 18.5 inches by 18.5 inches, so the internal bit is 18 inches. And you just do it exactly the same as the tiles, where you come in 1/4 inch, these are 1 inch. And what we're going to do next is make the walls for this. I'm not going to attach them to this because for storage purposes, so the walls will just rest on here. I mean, if you've got enough room, feel free to glue the walls in so it'll be more stable for when you play, but I'm not. So we're going to make the walls next.
So next up, it's the walls, which are quite easily made. Just made from 4 sections of foam, which are 5 inches high, and 2 of them, you're going to need 4 wall sections, and 2 of them are going to be 18.5 inches, and 2 are going to be 18 inches. On the 2 that are 18.5, you're going to want to cut out a door section. Got this one already done. And one of them, you're going to want to keep it and paint it up, and then slot it back in place for some of them, because two of the objective rooms don't have a door at the end, so you're going to put it so you can use it for those. You can just block the door back off like so. I've made the door slightly grander than the normal doors, and what I've done is I've scored round it, and then using that as a template, I've just drawn around 2 more either side of the door, and again drawing around those. They're not doors, they're just there for a bit of detail to help the wall stand up. We're going to make some pillars that are going to attach to the door. These just made from bits of foam that are the same height as the wall, which is 5 inches, and then they're going to be 2 inches wide. And glue those in place. And what I've done is, using the bits of offcuts from the door and these bits here, what I've done is I've just going to cut out a bit like this. I'm going to show you here. It's better to use a ruler if you've got time. And I'm just going to trim it so it's slightly smaller. So what's going to happen is that's then going to be glued there, so it's ever so slightly smaller. And then again, I've already cut this one bit, cut another bit that's even smaller, and then glue that in place. Then what you end up is something like that. So then it can stand up. Obviously, if you're gluing it, if you've got the room and you're going to glue the walls in place, you can still do this, but just to add a bit of detail. I've then scored in a little pattern here. These are dwarf runes. You can have a bit of fun there and put secret messages in here. I just did a search for dwarven runes and use that, and that is it. You then just paint these up the same as your as we've done before, and that is it. It's it complete. You can have a little showcase now and have a look at it all complete.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it, and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Game on and continue to support our wonderful hobby.